Today we are uncovering exactly how Pringles are made. You love that iconic crunch. They fit your tongue perfectly. They stack with surgical precision. But you might be thinking these are just sliced potatoes. Or perhaps you think the process is simple. In reality, these are engineered marvels. They are 42% potato and 58% pure physics. Every curve is a calculated aerodynamic miracle. I've spent 10 years inside industrial hubs like the massive Kellogg's plant in Jackson, Tennessee. Here, they move millions of units daily with robotic perfection. And in this video, I will take you through 8 calculated steps. We go from raw, dry flakes to the final pressurized pop of the seal. By the end of this video, you will never look at a snack tube the same way again. Step 1. The dry slurry. First, we begin with a mountain of dust. You might think these were whole potatoes once, and yet they are 42% potato flakes. But they need structure to survive the journey. Precision here is measured in fractions of a drop, so the machine demands a perfect, gritty consistency. It looks like chaos, but it is pure calculation. Every grain is a soldier in a snack army. Why add corn and rice flour, you ask? Because pure potato is too fragile for this speed. These silos hold enough potential for millions of cans. The mixer prefers its dough heavy and damp. And the journey toward the crunch has begun. This is where the slurry meets the steel. Human intuition checks the feel before we proceed. Step 2. The dough roller. Next, 4 tons of pressure meets the mash. I know you're wondering how thin this gets. It is thinner than a typical playing tart. But it must remain perfectly uniform throughout. The rollers act with an iron-fisted preference for flat. Any deviation would cause a catastrophic break later, so we squeeze every ounce of air away. This sheet is the canvas for your favorite snack. Steel and starch engage in a high-speed dance, and the friction generates a gentle industrial warmth. Waste is not an option in this facility, so the machine eats its own mistakes gracefully. Light checks for holes that shouldn't be there. We are moving faster than a person can run. Now, it is time for the final shape. Step 3. The cookie cutter. The machine punches out perfect ovals. It acts with the intention of a master sculptor. I know you're wondering what happens to the scraps, but the machine refuses to let them go. They are recycled to become fresh dough again. These are the orphans of the potato world. Every cut is executed with surgical, razor-sharp precision, and it never misses a single beat. Why an oval and not a circle, you ask? Because circles are too stubborn to stack correctly. This is the birth of the uniform army. They are flat, fragile, and ready for transformation. The factory demands a perfect count every second. The machine prefers to keep its workspace pristine. But they won't stay flat for much longer. Step 4. The hyperbolic mold. Next, we give the chips their iconic curve. You might think this is just for looks, but this shape is a hyperbolic paraboloid. It is designed to resist breaking under pressure. The molds act like a firm guiding hand. We're turning a snack into an architectural feat. Precision here is tighter than a human hair. And every single chip must be a clone. Why this specific curve? To survive the shipping. The machine ensures they don't fly away, because chaos is the enemy of the stack. We translate these tolerances into total structural integrity. They are now shaped, but still quite soft. Now they must face the fire of the fryer. This is the moment they find their crunch. Step 5. The 11-second fry. The chips plunge into a scalding bath. I know you're wondering why it's so fast. They only swim for exactly 11 seconds. But the machine refuses to let them float. Submerging them ensures every millimeter is cooked evenly. The fryer acts with a preference for crispness. This flash fry locks in that signature structural snap. Heat solves the problem of the soggy dough. We treat this oil like liquid gold, and the chaos of the liquid becomes refinement. We translate crunch into a measurable acoustic frequency. They must be tough enough to handle transport. Now they are ready for their identity. This thin film acts as the flavor's glue. But the spice is a one-sided affair. Step 6. The seasoning waterfall. The chips pass through a flavor storm. You might be thinking both sides get salted, but only the top curve receives the seasoning. This ensures the flavor hits your tongue first. The dispensers act with an intention of total coverage. We are painting with the palette of chemistry. Every granule is a calculated hit of dopamine. Why skip the bottom? To keep your fingers cleaner. The machine prefers a light, even dusting. Waste is captured and refiltered for the next batch. If the orange is too pale, the machine halts. They are now seasoned, savory, and ready. We solved the problem of the messy chip. Each flavor has its own specific microscopic grain. Now the lone soldiers must become a stack. Step 7. The shuffler. The chaotic line begins to narrow. I know you're wondering how they don't break. The hyperbolic shape allows them to nestle together. The machine acts like a dealer shuffling cards. Gravity solves the problem of the messy pile. They are becoming a single, unified whole. We translate weight into an exact chip count. The shuffler prefers a tight, rhythmic pace. This is the geometry of industrial efficiency. Any chip that is out of line is rejected. Human intuition designed this mechanical dance. It is a ballet performed at 60 miles per hour. Precision here prevents the dreaded half-full can. We are seconds away from the finish line. The tubes are waiting for their payload. Step 8. The final seal. Finally, the chips enter their reinforced home. You might be thinking the can is just paper, but it is a pressurized vault for freshness. The sealer acts with a preference for permanence. We solve the problem of oxidation with gas. This seal is a barrier against the world. We translate time into a permanent ink code. The line never stops, never tires, never fails. Millions of hyperbolic paraboloids are ready for travel. From a slurry of flakes to a global icon. Here, human intuition makes the final judgment. Every pop is a promise kept, and the journey from the factory is complete. The pressure is released. From a simple slurry of dry potato flakes to a mathematically perfect pressurized vault of crunch, this is how Pringles are factory made. If you enjoyed seeing the physics behind your favorite snack, hit that subscribe button and share this with a friend who can't stop at just one. Your support helps us step inside the world's most secretive factories to bring you the truth behind the products you love. What product do you want to see us uncover next? Let us know in the comments below. And if you think engineering a potato crisp is impressive, you need to see how we handle delicate holiday traditions with giant Easter chocolate bunnies. Click here and I'll show you how it's factory made.